You know, there's something great about Dragon Ball games. Whether you're a fan of transformations, flashy moves, or just fast-paced combat, Dragon Ball is some of the coolest fighting games out there. And not just fighting games either. From RPGs to beat-em-ups, Dragon Ball has covered nearly every genre of the gaming world. So join me, Oolong, as we cover the top 10 Dragon Ball video games. Oh yeah, I won't be using more than one entry per series in this list, otherwise a couple of games will just dominate it. Also, these are just my opinions. If you think I may have forgotten about a title, please let me know in the comments below. And with that, on to my very first top 10. Number 10! When I was a kid, I loved collecting things. Starting out with things like Transformers and G.I. Joes. Then Pokemon came out and the world just went nuts. I used to have the biggest binder full of foil cards. Opening up all those booster packs and getting lucky made me super happy. Some of you know where I'm going with this. Our 10th entry, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Now, before you get your pitchforks, hear me out. While there isn't really much game to Dokkan, it's kinda like a glorified Candy Crush, where you match character types and orb colors to be more effective. But its strength lies in doing those pulls and getting that exhilarating feeling when you pull an amazing character, or a multi-summon that gets you several SSRs, similar to trading card games like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. That being said, also like trading card games, luck is a huge factor. You basically gamble to summon, and luck can either be very good or very bad, and if you don't get characters that link well together, you'll have a hard time beating the challenges that await you in the later levels of the game. If only we had physical versions of the cards, it'd be so much cooler. Number 9! Before we get to this entry, I would like to state I'm not the biggest fan of Dragon Ball GT. Not that I hate it, I just wouldn't really want to watch it again. However, Dragon Ball GT Transformation is actually pretty cool. Harkening back to old school beat-em-ups like Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, and Turtles in Time, GT Transformation has combo-intensive combat which will make you think fast on your feet. The regular enemy AI is rather basic, but there are some epic bosses to fight, and several selectable characters, so you can get some replay value out of it. This also covers the first 2 arcs of the GT story. Music kinda sucks. You'd think they would get some of the show's iconic music, must have had some licensing issues. Number 8! One of the things that makes Dragon Ball so cool is the flashy iconic attacks. Nothing like a good old Kamehameha wave or garlic gun.
It's Garlic Gun!
Whatever! Few games do the attack's visual justice better than Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit, released on the PS3 and Xbox 360. This gave Dragon Ball games a much needed and appreciated workover on how everything looked. It was almost like you were playing the show. This has some of the best story cutscenes ever. The story missions get a bit repetitive, but you can also play as villains in different parts of the story. You even get to equip character pieces to heal up or even attack your opponent mid-battle. The combat is very fast with a lot of options, but the defensive timing can be a bit tough to get down. Regular key attacks don't cost anything and key energy auto refills, so you don't really need to worry about key management. But the beam struggles are intense and feel very satisfying. Why don't we have beam struggles anymore? Oh, right. Number 7! Earlier we talked about the pros and cons of Dokkan Battle. Gambling for virtual goods can be very frustrating. That's not to worry for the next game on our list though. Dragon Ball Heroes takes what Dokkan Battle tries to do and laughs at it. After buying a couple boosters, you can take your cards down to the arcade and actually place them on the machine. Hell, you can buy them while you're there if you really want to. This will read the cards and your characters will actually pop up in the game. The combat is pretty simple. Basically, you try to hit the button at the right time through various mini-games to make your characters do more damage or block incoming attacks. You can also physically move your cards between different zones on the board, and can even pair some characters up for better effectiveness and even combo attacks. Honestly, this sounds like a lot of fun to me. Only reason this isn't higher on the list is because this is pretty much exclusive to Japan. Come on, JP, bring a few arcade machines over to the US. You know we'll shower you in zenny. Number 6! Ah, the Game Boy Advance, home to such popular titles as Advance Wars, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, and some good RPGs like Golden Sun, and our 6th entry, Goku's Legacy 2. This was the pinnacle of the series as far as I'm concerned. With vast improvements to the engine from the last game, attacks are much faster and sync well together, and even had the added bonus of having some of the show's iconic Bruce Faulkner music. Getting to play as 5 different characters, you'll blaze through the Cell Saga in this awesome action RPG. It can get a bit difficult as the hitboxes and hit timings of some of the enemies can be a little weird. Overall, it's a very fun action-oriented game that will keep you satisfied pretty much all the way through. Just don't expect much replay value. Number 5! You know, speaking of really good GBA games, there's another Dragon Ball gem that was a total blast to play. Of course, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Advance Adventures. Another side-scroller, this game takes you through a portion of the Dragon Ball story. You'll fight the dastardly Red Ribbon Army as you punch and blast your way to victory. The combat feels incredible, with simple punches and kicks, flowing into great key attacks. Another amazing thing, you can unlock and play as any character in the game. That's right, every character, even bosses. This gives the game so much replay value, it's ridiculous. Hell, even the soundtrack is awesome. Overall, I really couldn't find any gripes about this game. It's very, very solid, and definitely deserves the number 5 spot on this list. Number 4! You know, I'm a big fan of RPGs. Games like Xenoblade Chronicles with its amazing story, awesome character development, and progression. The team at Monolith Soft is very good at what they do. You know what else they made? Attack of the Saiyans for the Nintendo DS. This one's a doozy, folks. Going up through the battle with Vegeta and Nappa, there is so much to discover. A great 3-man party battle system that lets you allocate your stats when you level up. There's an ability tree that lets you unlock new moves or improve old ones. A limit break gauge for powerful signature moves or devastating team attacks. There's a lot of team attacks to discover in here, guys. Like, a lot. Oh my gosh, there's so many team attacks. It has an active guard to help you reduce damage, and everything is played out in quick, awesome looking side animations. Hands down, best Dragon Ball RPG ever made. Sadly, never got a sequel. Why does that always happen to the good games? Number 3! Alright, now we're getting into the greatest of the great. I'm sure most of you have a pretty good idea what's the top of this list. There have been many great DBZ games. There have been great fighting games, and Bandai clearly hit one out of the park with Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Wow, this is packed with features. With over 40 characters to play across the entirety of the Dragon Ball Z world, including movies, there's just so much to do. The game improved greatly on the fighting system with quick speed, Dragon Rush, ultimate attack struggles, beam struggles, perfect blocks, fighter fatigue, and more balanced ki and transformations. You also get to level everyone up with variant stats for customization. Free flight also helps movement drastically. The story mode is called Dragonuniverse, which has playable stories for multiple characters, including Broly. And to top it off, you could have online play with other people. This game has so much replayability, you'll be at this for quite a while. Better grab some snacks, huh? Number 2! The runner-up. There are a number of ways for your fighting game to stand out from the rest. Flashy attacks, fast and fluid combat, and my personal favorite, character creation. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 improved on pretty much everything from the original game. Being able to make your own story in the Dragon Ball world was a pretty big draw for most fans of the series, including myself. Although you can't make pigs in there, kinda gotta work on that, Bandai, come on. Saiyans, Namekians, Boos, humans, and Frieza race, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. There are tons of special abilities, moves, and transformations that will keep you making builds and giving the game a massive amount of replayability. Leveling your character is very rewarding and reflects very well in combat. The spin on the tired out story is very, very nice, but the game has so many of the same fights and quests from the first installment, making the grind way worse if you've played the first game. Also, while combat has a lot of options with step vanishing, perfect blocks, dragon dashes, and other things, the game is entirely reliant on stamina and stamina breaks. If you let your opponent break your stamina, you can't really do much. Also, not all the follow attacks work properly. There's a bit of server lag that kinda takes place during player versus player battles. If it wasn't for the stamina issue, this probably would have made first place, but all in all, one of the best Dragon Ball experiences you'll ever have the pleasure of having. Number 1! Are y'all ready? We've talked about RPGs, side-scrollers, fighter games, so many different kinds of Dragon Ball Z games. It seems only right that a fighting game would be the king of it all. You know what's coming. Our top spot for the best Dragon Ball game ever. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Where do I start? This game has over 160 playable characters, including transformations, great apes included. Also, if it happened in Dragon Ball Z, it's happening in this game. Canon, to movies, and even some imagined scenarios, this game will be pretty hard to put down. Counterattacks are much easier than before. Z Burst Dash helps you to cover a lot of ground very quickly. You even have access to battle replays. How cool is that? The character customization is really good, allowing you to change and have different stats for each person. AKA my Goku might not be the same as your Goku. This is by far the most balanced Tenkaichi game, arguably the most balanced in general, and this game sold incredibly well. The only drawback is the lackluster story mode. You only have 48 fights and your stats are locked based on what the game thinks you should be at that part of the story. Overall, not enough of a drawback to be compared to all the awesome that this game brings to the table. Heck, you even get to play as villains during their parts of the story mode. This game does so much right, and it is by a good margin my pick for the best Dragon Ball game of all time. Hey, thanks for watching my very first top 10. Did you agree with me? Perhaps you have a different pick for first place. Or maybe there's a Dragon Ball game you enjoy that I didn't even put on the list at all. Feel free to let me know in the comments below what your favorite Dragon Ball game of all time is. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more awesome Oolong videos in the future. I'll see y'all later. Take care.